At this time, I want to turn it over to Mrs. Cassidy. She's going to provide information and a presentation on online instruction, and I believe she's actually going to take over our screens here with a presentation.
Okay. I actually remembered to unmute, so that's good. Yes, I wanted to share tonight the parent website that we put together that is available for parents to go to in case they had any questions about online learning, what it's like, where they should go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to present now. When I present, I'm not going to be able to see you. So if you have questions, please just shout them out because I won't be able to see if you're trying to wave me down or raise your hand. So I'm going to go ahead and hit present. Okay, and now you should be able to see the screen of our homepage. And the reason I wanted to start here was because I wanted to show you where you can find the parent resources. And right now, all of our online learning extended closure resources, they're all in this big green area up here. So if you go to online learning parent resources, this will take you to our website that we put together. And our department did this so that you would be able to refer to it whenever you needed it. We tried to put everything on here that we could think that you might be interested in knowing about. But if there are things that you would like to see that are not on here, please just let us know. So online learning, the first thing that we have on this very first page is just a little welcome. And one thing that we do want to say is that we know that whatever experiences that we're giving students now, we know that we cannot replicate what they would have what students would have if they were in our classrooms every day. But we are working really hard to do the very best we can in this situation. And so we are looking for feedback on how things are going. If you feel like, students could be doing more or it's a lot, we want to hear that feedback so that we can adjust as necessary. We had a lot of questions initially about, are we grading the work? And that was really when our schools first closed, is the work graded? Why is it just enrichment? And so what we did was we put a level system in place just to kind of explain to parents the differences between the different levels of school closing. And so, sorry, hang on. All right, there it is. Level 1 is if school is closed with no required assignments or online learning activities. So that would be like a regular snow day or a heat day or a day like if a water main broke. That would school closed, no required assignments. Level 2 is what happened again right when school let out after March or on March 13th, where school is closed and optional district coordinated online enrichment activities are provided. And the intent of those activities were to keep students engaged with school and new material was not presented. But in level 3, which is where we are right now, school is closed and more formal lessons are provided. In this case, assignments will be submitted to teachers and feedback will be provided. New material will be taught. So students are going to be getting feedback. They are expected to turn in their assignments and to tune in to their lessons. So that's basically the front homepage. If you hit on elementary, I'm going to go over our elementary guidelines for you. We are expecting that elementary students should be engaged in online learning for no more than 1 to 2 hours a day. Again, we don't expect that we're going to replicate what happens during a normal school day when students are coming to us. So there's no way we expect them to be sitting in front of a computer for 6 hours a day. We think 1 to 2 hours is pretty much where students should be. If you find that it's way more than that, if you would please reach out, let the teacher know, because that, again, is not our intention. So what can you expect for assignments? Elementary assignments will be posted to Google Classroom. And Google Classroom is an online organizational system. It's a place where teachers can put their lessons all the students can log in and see those lessons. Students can get the assignments, complete the assignments, and turn them right back into Google Classroom. So it's a really nice system, and it's a nice organizational way to keep the work there. If you are unclear about Google Classroom or how to work it or what you should do, we do have tutorials for you right here on Technology Resources, and I'll get to that in a little bit. Each week, elementary students in kindergarten through grade 3 will receive their work on 2 different days. So on Mondays, which is today, if you have an elementary student, you would see that your elementary student would have gotten 1 math and 1 English language arts lesson, optional science and social studies enrichment activities, a fun project-oriented art, music, or PE lesson, which students would have all week to complete, a wellness lesson from their counselor, which students would have all week to complete. On Wednesdays, again, they would get another lesson, 1 math, 1 English language arts, and then optional science and social studies enrichment activities. So that is what online learning would look like for kindergarten through grade 3. In 4th and 5th grade, it's very similar, except that they are also adding in 1 science or social studies lesson, and that's going to alternate week to week. So they'll also get a math and an English language arts on Monday, and their science or social studies. They'll have art, music, and PE lessons. They'll have a wellness lesson from their counselor, and then on Wednesdays, they'll get a math and English language arts lesson again. If your child receives special education, reading intervention, or gifted services, those teachers will also be providing support to their students, so they'll be reaching out to the students as well. How will my student be assessed? Again, as of today, we moved into level 3 online learning, and that means that the teachers are assigning work and students are expected to complete it and return it for teacher feedback. Teachers' feedback may be verbal. They may be doing a Google Meet like we're doing right now, or it might be written on assignments. In this case, and this is something I really want to stress, it is important that in this situation where teachers are not there, able to see students' faces, able to kind of gauge where students are, that if students do not understand something, if they're unclear about directions or how to do something, that they reach out to their teacher. Again, in a classroom, teachers can scan the room and they can see students that are getting it or not getting it. Teachers don't have that luxury in this kind of a setting. So if your child does not understand, please have them reach out to their teacher. All teachers will have office hours, and we'll talk about that in a minute too. Like Erin said, we are still working out what our reporting is going to look like at the elementary level, but that should be coming soon. We had some good meetings about that today. And then again, remember, we are all in this together. Our teachers are new at this. We're new at this. Parents are new at this. Students are new at this. So if you're having any trouble at all, please know that your child's teacher and principal are there to help. And then if we notice on our end that work is not being completed, just know that teachers and principals may be reaching out to see what they can do to help support you, because this is an extended time where students are not in school, and we just want to make sure that they're learning as much as possible because that's very important to us. How can you communicate with your child's teacher? So teachers are encouraged to send written or video messages daily to help students feel connected. And you might have noticed that already teachers have been reaching out. I know I've been seeing on social media that the teachers have been sending out videos and other messages. In addition to posting the lessons, each teacher will also coordinate office hours. And those office hours are at least 2 hours a day where you can contact them with questions or assignments or just to say hi. Some teachers have decided to do an hour in the morning and an hour in the afternoon, just in case one time of the day was better for you. Some teachers are doing their hours all together. So that just depends. So make sure that your teacher, if you haven't seen it in the communication, that you reach out and ask them when their office hours are. If you send an email, the teachers will be checking email at a minimum of twice a day, and you can always expect a response within 24 hours. In addition, elementary will be doing a weekly online newsletter that will give parents kind of an overview of the week so parents know what to expect and then can plan out their weeks a little bit better. And then we also put a sample family schedule, which we got from Katie Martin. Some administrators are actually reading a book by Katie Martin right now. She also has a blog. So if you're interested in reading that blog, there's a link here that you can click on. But she put out a sample online learning day at home, what your learning day could look like. So if you're interested in seeing that. I thought it was interesting. 8 o'clock a bedtime for all kids, but 9 o'clock for ones who follow their schedule. So that might help some parents out. Okay, any questions about elementary online expectations?
Tina, I have one. You might have touched on this. How is attendance being handled? And do all the kids have access to something like this?
So we have, we have had our Chromebook. If parents needed Chromebooks, we've had a Google form up for the past couple of weeks to see if parents wanted a Chromebook. I know Ryan handed out, I want to say 400 or more. Ryan, you can talk to that. I know that form is no longer up, but if parents need a Chromebook, they can reach out to their principal. Their principals and teachers will be following up with students who are not doing assignments, and really assignments are the way we're going to track attendance. And so they will be following up with them and trying to problem solve family by family.
Okay. And you said, again, you might have touched on this, kids that have IEPs and they require like face-to-face intervention, you're saying that this covers everything that they need, even though in the IEP it's a little different?
Yes, so everything that's on the student's IEP will be covered.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, secondary students, very similar to elementary students. We know that they can handle more work on their own. So we are expecting that secondary students should participate in online learning for no more than 2 to 4 hours a day. If it goes beyond that, again, please let us know, and we will help you with that.
Mrs. Cassidy, I had a question real quick. It's Rob Skidmore. Just wondering on, if there was a situation of where a teacher wanted to have an online meeting, are they allowed to do that at this point with the students?
Yes, teachers can schedule online Google Meets, and students can join. We are asking that lessons are not delivered that way, but that meets could be more like question and answer periods, classroom meetings, those kinds of things, because now we know that not all students will be able to tune in at the same time. So there may be a situation where there's one Chromebook and a family of 3 kids. We want to make sure that we're not limiting students so that they aren't able to get instruction. So we ask teachers for instruction purposes that they post video lessons of themselves or another way. And then if they want to have virtual meetings with students, that would be more of a question and answer time.
And as far as security for students from other people that aren't part of the district and so forth that could try to get on electronic, communications and so forth, are there some safeguards in place for that? Thank you.
So our teachers are going to be inviting students to use Google Meets through our internal system. And I know Chris and Ryan can also speak to this, but they will get, it will be within their Medina Bees Google Classroom, through Blackboard, through their Medina Bees email. It'll all be housed within that.
Ryan, you can jump in too, but because the invitations are coming through their email, Rob, and not a lot of what you're seeing on social media is because the invitations are being posted in a public place. So if you're being invited to an email through one of your public organizations and they're putting it on their main web page, that's how people are joining these meetings. So our students' invitations are being sent through our closed email system. And so Ryan can jump in on that. So that covers Google, right, Ryan?
Yeah, so Google's a little better from the security standpoint than some of the other. Zoom is another one that's pretty popular. And we only allow them to join by their student email address. So that is the restriction in place for our students.
And then I'll let Mina jump in about Zoom. A lot of what you're hearing about Zoom is the free version. Zoom has allowed education to use their upgraded version for free. So Mina and I have been doing a lot of work, and Tina, with Zoom. A lot of the things you're seeing in the news and on social media involve some of the freer versions of Zoom. And so Mina and I were just doing some more work on that today. I'll let her jump in about Zoom.
Yeah, and there are even between Google Meets and Zoom both, I know they've upgraded privacy policies just over the weekend to make both platforms even safer. And in Zoom specifically, you get to, as the host, decide who enters and when they enter. So if it's not a familiar email address that pops up, that person would not be able to enter the meeting.
I have a question with the Google Meet. So even if there was a code or a link that was shared, you're saying they still can't get in unless they enter through their Medina Bees email, correct?
Correct.
Okay, because I thought that's what Ryan had said too. I just want to make sure I understood that correctly. So even if that link would get shared with someone else, unless they have a Medina Bees email account, they cannot get access.
I believe that to be correct.
Okay.
Becky, unless the teacher's inviting them. I mean, I guess what we're saying is the teacher is the one who's sending the kids the invitation. I guess I need more details, right, Ryan, about what you're exactly asking.
So, for instance, if the teacher posted a code on social media on a public Facebook page, this is your code for your Google Classroom.
Yeah, teachers aren't supposed to do that. All information for Google Meets are not posted in public. So there should be no way for the public to get those codes.
Okay. But I just wondered too, if someone shared a code, if a student's, share the code or something too with someone else, would they be able to get in?
They potentially could. So we're really with this process relying on our students and our staff to keep in mind of measures to protect our students. I know one thing that Tina put out there to teachers is when they do end a Google Meet or Zoom meeting, that the teacher makes sure they're the last ones to log off the meeting before it ends.
Okay.
And part of what we had to weigh with the technology that we have to utilize is the advantage for students to be able to have those face-to-face meetings versus just locking it all down. And at this point, we feel like it is a huge advantage for our students for multiple reasons, not just academics, but from a social and a connection piece. To be able to have those interactions. Our full student code of conduct is in place, even with the online and virtual learning, and our principals send out information the end of last week to all of our parents regarding that. So if we do have any incidences of inappropriate behavior, we will handle that as we would per our student code of conduct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions before I start with secondary? Okay, so secondary students, again, we felt like they could do more online work than an elementary student. So we said that online learning should be no more than 2 to 4 hours a day. Students in grades 6 to 12 are receiving assignments either through Google Classroom or Blackboard. So a lot of students have already been using Blackboard, and so we didn't want to switch them up. Blackboard is very similar to Google Classroom. They're both online organizational systems. Students are going to receive 2 lessons and assignments per week in each of their classes. So that's a little different again than elementary. So no matter what class it is, they will receive 2 lessons a week. And for elementary, we paced it more out for them. For secondary, we decided that students can pace that out themselves. So all lessons will be posted by 9 a.m. on Monday of each week of online learning, and that students will be able to self-pace. So if there's a day that's better for them, if they work better in the evening than in the morning, they can do that. Assignments will be due by 9 o'clock on Sunday evening. So students have all week, 7 days to work on that. Our teachers are going to aim to make learning interactive and engaging, and so this may look different depending on the class. Some teachers will have students respond to readings, videos, comment on a discussion board, and some teachers might schedule virtual class sessions. These sessions will be announced on Mondays when assignments are posted for the week, so there'll be no surprise sessions, and students will have opportunities to plan their week. But again, that shouldn't be new material. That should be question and answer period. Above all, we want students to feel connected and maintain positive relationships with their teachers. And then again, if your child receives special ed, special education, reading intervention, or gifted services, those teachers will also be reaching out. This is very similar to elementary. Again, we're moving to level 3. Teachers are going to be giving feedback in different ways through virtual meetings or written assignments, and it's very important that students take advantage of office hours. We are still working on our grading, but again, that's coming very shortly. We have a good start on that. And again, please let us know. We're looking for your feedback. And again, this is very similar to, I think this is exactly the same as elementary. Teachers are encouraged to send written or video messages every day. Teachers are going to coordinate 2 hours of office hours every day. They will answer email within 24 hours. And again, just reach out to teachers if you have any questions. Any questions about secondary expectations?
Tina, I don't have any questions, but I just have a couple of comments because, again, I do have a high schooler, and I'm very thankful that this has come up and running. And we've chuckled among ourselves because at least now he is up at 8 a.m. and ready to start his school day. And to get that structure back for these kids, structure is so important for the students. So you guys have done a great job. Thank you very much for getting this up and rolling.
Thank you, Val. I appreciate that. The teachers have been great. They've been working so hard, and we've been doing a lot of PD. They've been coming to they were in virtual meetings all last week getting ready, so they've really stepped up. We're really lucky to have a staff like we have. We also thought what parents might need are some technology resources. If you are having trouble with your school-issued Chromebook, what should you do? Here's a little information on what you can do, and that's email the help desk, and they will make sure that you are able to get that fixed. If you are completely unfamiliar with Google Classroom, we were so lucky because one of our middle school teachers, and we had one of our high school media specialist and our technology vision committee worked so hard to put video tutorials together for teachers and parents. And so some of those resources can be found here. If you would like to watch the video on how to log in, and then these are step-by-step written out directions for students and parents. So please, if you're uncomfortable with that, feeling a little, unsure, please refer to that. That would be helpful. What are online learning expectations for my child? Really, the online learning expectations are the same as they would be in a classroom. Any classroom rules would apply here too. For any live or video conferencing, we're asking the display name should not include the full name. Any comments in a chat need to be school appropriate. We're asking students to mute their microphones unless it's their turn to speak. We included little icons where students can raise their hand if they want to ask a question. Everything visible in the camera should be school appropriate. We're asking students not to share screenshots of classmates or the teacher, and thinking that it may be helpful if they use headphones when they're on their chat. And if expectations are met, the teacher will just send them a private message. And if it gets to the point where teachers might have to reach out to parents, and then there's also Ohio Department of Education released a remote learning guide. So if you would like to take a look at that, that's a really good resource for you too. Any questions about the technology resources?
This is great. Thank you.
Absolutely. And then the last tab over here is wellness. We know this is a very stressful time. Students may be having some trouble. Parents might be feeling some anxiety going into an online learning situation like this. So we did put some resources together, both for parents and students that you could go to. And then we also have our Safe School Helpline information down here. So please utilize that too if you would like to or need to. And so that is basically our parent online learning resource. I'm going to go ahead and stop presenting.